We are back with another episode of the Triggered AF podcast. We are in season 5. We are rocking and rolling and doing all the things.
All the things.
Okay, and today we have a very, very special guest. We were so excited to have this conversation because a lot of times when we have goals and we have things we want to accomplish, it's really difficult to stay the course and to fall in love with the process and the journey. Mm-hmm. So today we have creator, co-founder of Fly Supply and Sniper Gang Apparel, realtor, and founder of Love Your Journey, Garrett Brown.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
ladies?
podcast.
How y'all doing?
You guys great. I really am, like Danny was saying, like super excited to have this conversation because I always say and believe however the journey feels is how the destination will feel. Right. So if you really despise the journey or you hate it or you're miserable or you're sad, when you get to the destination, it's gonna feel the same way.
Right.
Like, because it's what you've been cultivating, what you've been focusing on the entire time, how tough, how hard, how frustrating, how challenging, all the things. So when you finally get to the destination, I think too that's why a lot of times we don't really celebrate ourselves because we hated the journey. Right. So we're just finally like, oh God, now that that's over, next.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm excited to talk about, loving the journey, especially too when we were talking off screen about titling and figuring out who you are and everything else. And there are so many expectations on us, especially when you are running successful businesses, plural. Successful businesses, there are all these expectations on who you should be, who you're supposed to be, what it should look like. And so many people will put their expectations on you and then get upset when you're like, nah, I'm good, love, and joy. So who is it, of all the titles and all the roles and all the hats that you wear, who is it that you say you are?
Who I say I am, I feel like I'm just a vessel. Mm-hmm. I never really liked titles. I never really I grew up in a Christian background, or at least my mom. Yeah. So really, for me, I understand order.
Okay.
Because everything, everything God does is, through order.
Yeah.
And so with me, I don't really like the titles, but I do understand that roles are important. Mm-hmm. Everybody has to do, the roles.
Play a position.
Everybody has to play a position. So for me, I'm just a vessel being used. I believe we're all a vessel being used.
Yeah.
And that's how I always look at I'm just a vessel being used. I'm not better than anybody.
Yeah.
I can't really do anything better than anyone. I can only do what God allows me to do. You know what I mean? So I'm just a vessel being used.
I like that. We've never had anyone say they're a vessel. I like that.
I like that. Okay.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah. Do you feel like when, as a vessel, if it kind of forces you sometimes into roles that are uncomfortable for you?
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because even doing this right now, right? And I may go off on a tangent a little bit.
That's fine. We like tangents.
Yeah, but even doing this, I know that this may be my calling as well, right? And so being in the front of cameras or doing public speaking was always something challenging for me, right? Even when I was a kid in elementary, me and my best friend Mike, we used to race the speech class. So I always had a list. You may hear it now. You know what I mean?
I don't hear it.
Yeah, but
I didn't know that.
I have a list. I had a speech problem. Me and my buddy Mike. So funny thing, on the way over here, I felt like the devil was trying to bring all that stuff back into my.
Really?
Yeah, bring. Hey, you don't really know how to speak well.
Oh no.
Yeah, you don't know how to speak well. When I came in, I saw you. The both of you guys had on white toenail polish. And that was a trigger for me of something that happened way back in the past.
Really?
That gave me a heartbreak. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
So
my God.
I feel like I love white too. You know what I mean? But I just feel like God was using not God, but I feel like the devil was using certain things to kind of throw me off from the assignment in the way that I'm about to be used.
Well, I'm so glad you got a good hug then when you came.
That's why I came back for 2 hugs. I came for 2. Did I come back for 2?
Yeah, you were like, no, I need another one. I was like, absolutely.
Yeah, I did another one because I understood how the devil was trying to attack me, and I had to reset.
I love that. I'm so happy.
I love that.
Yeah.
How have you learned to love those uncomfortable parts of the journey? How do you even move through that? What was your process not just to date, but in general, like how do you kind of start to love and know how to navigate when you do get super uncomfortable? Because some people just throw in the towel and give up, and they never even go far enough in the journey to see half of it, or to even see some kind of progress, or to see any fruits of their labor. Anytime there's conflict or anytime they get uncomfortable, they're like, oh, okay, I'm not supposed to. Some people think they're not supposed to do it when they get uncomfortable, and they just give up. So how do you navigate that and do more to push through it?
Well, I got a lot to say on that. I feel like it's not really about me. So a lot of the times when it just, tied, if it's just tied to you, sometimes you'll quit on yourself. But when it's attached to other people, something bigger, it always gives you the ability to move. So like for me, I think about a lot of stuff. I think about the small suitcase my mom and my dad had when they came over from Jamaica. My parents are from, my family is from Jamaica. Yeah. So like those stories and those memories, like it holds power. It gives you power. Yeah. So like I think about that. I think about my dad coming over on the boat from Jamaica, getting washed up in Pompano, getting sent back. He got arrested trying to get over here. What? And my mom cleaning toilets, cleaning the house when she first got here. Yeah. So on my journey, when I hit those struggles and stuff like that, I also know how to create a routine. So like, and that's big. Like for me, my routine looks like whenever I feel like I'm going too far, off the edge or whatever, or I feel like it's overwhelming, I know how to create a routine. Yeah. So what my routine looks like is I'll start a fast. So it'll probably be like no sex.
Oh, I do that a lot.
Sugar.
Yeah.
No sugar.
I've definitely heard about your fast.
I do no sex.
You heard about it?
I've heard about your fast. Yeah. I've heard like, but in passing, not in detail, but it's like, oh yeah, because G's on a fast. And like, I've heard it, but I've never inquired or like got a full in-depth whatever, but it'll my husband and him are like besties. I always feel like I always make jokes about them and how close they are in their their big bromance that they had, and they talk on the phone regularly. So like I hear, he'll say a lot of things in passing, but he's like, oh no, I can't do that because G's on a fast, and I just be like, huh? And then so it's interesting to hear that it's actually a part of a routine for you to push through tough times.
The fast. What Reggie's talking about is I'll take a fast off of Instagram. Okay. Every social media platform. Okay. Because me, I feel like humans are not designed to really have all that stuff.
All that stimuli.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
In your face.
You're constantly getting bombarded. Yeah.
Getting bombarded over and over and over. Me personally, I can't handle that sometimes.
Okay. And that's okay.
And I pull back. Yeah. So that's where the fast comes from. I do my devotions. And I'm far from perfect. But I do the devotions. I start working out, stuff like that, just to kind of get myself
to bring yourself back center.
Right.
And you feel like that's how you're able to kind of get back on course, get back on the path.
Yeah. That's how I'm able to keep strong on my journey.
I love that. And so you said sex is something you fast from. Sugar is something you fast from. What are some of the other
social media?
Social media. No rice, no bread. We from my parents are from the island, so we eat rice every day. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me. It's hard for me to stop eating rice and bread.
So then you only fast from things that you truly enjoy, so that it makes an impact.
Right. I fast, and then also when you fast, it's okay to expect. Just even if you need it. Like I remember one time I was going through something. And I did a fast, and I was fasting. I wanted some answers. I was asking, God, where do you want me to go? Yeah. I was lost, right? I was confused. I was like, what do you want me to do? Yeah, what do you want me to do so I can move forward in the right direction? You know what I mean? And I remember I went on a fast, and I think I was about 15 days into my 30-day fast, and I remember I started questioning God. Man, what you doing? Like, I've been stopping this. I've been stopping this. We on day 15. Nothing happened. Yeah. I'm saying no to sex, you know what I mean? So I need to see something. And then I remember, man, one thing about that, when you're expecting something from God, is like, you better be ready what he's going to reveal to you. Yeah. Because I think...
Be careful what you...
That revelation.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready at all. I wasn't ready at all. And I remember, like, he showed me everything that I wanted. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready at all. So... I just I don't know, man. You just gotta be ready for what
you say you want.
Yeah, for what you say you want, because sometimes it may be a little bit much.
Yeah, it might be more than you thought that you could handle. And it's so funny because Danny was talking about it in one of our other interviews, and she was saying that she wanted these gold cutlery or silverware, or whatever the heck you want to call
utensils.
them. Utensils. Okay. Yes, these gold utensils. And she was saying that on the box when she first got it, it said that you won't be able to wash these in the dishwasher because it tarnishes the finish. And she's like, okay, cool, that's fine. I'll do what I need to do. I'll wash them. And then she said they got to a certain part of the journey where she was tired of hand washing them and just decided to put them in the dishwasher. And then she noticed that they started to tarnish, which is exactly what the box said they were going to do. Okay. And she was like, she realized that the thing that she thought she wanted, she was not prepared for.
I got that from washing dishes. Stuff like that happens to me. I was like, this is what I get from wanting something I saw somebody else with, thinking that it was good for me.
Yeah.
And I'm not prepared to handle it. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I don't have the patience. Nor do I give a damn enough. It'll be that simple. Like, I just don't care enough to hand wash utensils. Like, I am busy. Like, I got 10 minutes to do these dishes right now. I don't have time to hand wash and hand dry. That shit. So, yeah, we were talking about that because a lot of times on our journey, we get distracted by other people's journeys or somebody running beside us. And we're like, well, where they going? Oh, how come they're running past, or seems like they're running past me when they could be running in a circle. And they just going round and round lapping. You think they're lapping you in a good way, but really they're just going around in circles, not going anywhere, So I feel like it's important, especially on your journey, to kind of stay focused. And I love that you fast and you do things to remain focused. I know that's what fasting does. And for anyone who's not familiar with what fasting is, I know most of us are familiar with things like intermittent fasting and just fasting for the sake of health reasons. But in a lot of religious communities, fasting is something that is done unto their God, right? So they fast. It's biblical. It's a
spiritual type of experience.
We know Muslims fast. We know Jews fast. I mean, it's definitely very popular in a lot of religions. So that's what he means by fasting. It's not just like, oh, I'm not going to eat so that I lose 50 pounds. It's more so a time that you dedicate to God. Is that correct?
Right, that's correct.
Yeah. And so for me, though, when I do think about, being on the journey and fasting, sometimes there are revelations of like folks who can't continue on the journey with you.
Okay.
And that right there can be hella challenging, especially when like, no, this is what I want. Like, no, this is it. I remember there was a relationship that I just really, really wanted it. And I wanted it bad. I was like, no, this is what it's going to be. I am going to force it to be.
Right.
And then when I finally got that revelation, like, hey, yo, either you're going to leave this or you're going to leave this earth, I was like, dang, well, it looks like I got to go ahead and, time to say goodbye.
Right.
But that can be a challenge, especially when you love your folks. So as you're going on the journey, everybody can't go with you. And just think, everybody can't go with you. Right. And when you are deciding, like, who gets to stay, who gets to go, like, especially when you've had these friends for, let's say, decades, like, how do you decide, like, which ones can stay and which ones can go? Like, what is that like?
Well, I'm really particular with who I hang around with anyway. And that always came from my mom and my dad since we were kids. So I had a lot of brothers and sisters anyway. So I didn't really need a lot of friends. Right, and so I didn't really need a lot of friends. I have an uncle who says that.
Oh, is that a Jamaican thing? Because I have an uncle that's just like, I don't need no friends. I have all these siblings and family. What I need friends for?
Nah, well, I didn't.
My uncle has 13.
13. How many?
Well, raised in a house with me, 5, but I have 10 in total. But that was raised in a house with us.
Oh yeah, you don't need no friends. You get.
But I mean, I did have friends, and I was able to be around. I was blessed enough to be around good friends. Like, everybody that's around me right now, I've been knowing them for years. Like, I've been knowing Reggie and KP through mutual friends for over 15 years. So nobody around me is really new people. You know what I mean? So, and everybody who I'm around, they're quality men. They're quality fathers, and they got good character. Like, I'm thinking about this, right? And I may go off on a tangent. I had a good friend of mine. He just lost his girlfriend. 3 kids.
Lost hers and she passed away.
She died out the blue. Just died.
Oh my goodness.
3 kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, he's still moving. Like nothing happened. And I know it's beating him up.
Yeah.
Character. Because he can't let he can't let his family down. He still moves. When we first started doing one of my companies, Fly Supply, me and Rick was riding. His sister died. She died, but we still had to go get the shirts. We still had to go pick them up. This is when we first started.
Yeah.
One of my other partners, we was in there working on a Friday, leading up to the weekend. Gets a call. A couple of days later, his father died. He still kept coming back, and because they knew that we needed them. Yeah. Reg and I, we were going through our situations. We was hustling through a whole heartbreak.
Yeah.
But we're still making sure everything was going because we knew that everybody needed us.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of guys that I hang with, and I've been like that since I've been a kid.
Yeah.
So my whole team is just like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's.
Yeah. So basically, you decide who gets to stay based on their character.
Yeah, but the character, like.
What are some traits of the people who can't come? Like what are they do this and it's like, oh, you gotta go.
You gotta go.
Like these like what are we know like, okay, the guys that are in your circle are guys that are solid guys, stand up character, like these are things that matter. But what are like the red flags where it's like, oh nah, homie, you gotta
exit stage left.
Like we had the conversation off camera. The lack of division as well.
Ah, so
I agree a little bit, but I just felt like the powers that you possess, you could assist that gentleman because he didn't sound like a terrible guy.
You see how men will judge us for not liking things in men that they don't like in men.
They don't like. Listen, okay, y'all. So we about to bring y'all. We gonna skirt real quick. We gonna put a flag on the play real quick, and I'm gonna tell y'all what he's talking about. So we were talking earlier. So anybody who ever listens to Triggered knows I date. I date a lot. I love dating. It's fun. I don't see it as some, oh my God, I gotta get to know somebody. For me, it's oh great, I get to experience and get to know someone because I'm deciding who I'm going to allow to choose me, okay? And who I'm going to choose to. Finally get married, y'all. I'm gonna do it eventually. So we were talking, and I was saying, for me, a non-negotiable is a man who has no vision. I'm not saying that you have to have executed your vision. I'm not saying you have to know the steps to your vision. I'm saying if you have no vision, I cannot activate and leverage who I am because I'm really good at getting things from your head to your hand. I can't activate that if a man has no vision. Now, G gave me all this feedback, all this pushback, and now he's saying the same thing I was saying. So that's why me and Danny erupted like, oh my goodness. No. You believe me. You agree.
I agree. And I believe in you, but what I was also saying was that the thing that I heard, like I said, if what the guy said, he said if you go in front of me, if you go in front of me, I may not follow. If you come behind me, I may not lead, but be beside me and be my friend. So with that being said, I felt like I said again, with the power that you possess, you could have came by him and be his friend, and you could have helped him develop that vision. He already had the work ethic because he already had the companies going. Yeah. So he's not a loser. I knew some losers. They left behind. I don't deal with them no more. But this guy is not a loser. Like he's not a loser.
So those are people who can't come, the losers.
You gotta want to do something.
I agree.
You gotta want to do something. You
gotta want to do something.
You gotta want to do something. Like you gotta want to do something. You gotta at least want to try. We did a seminar. We partnered up with the City of Miami Gardens. And Mark Whitten, out of Baltimore. This guy charges like $300 per seminar that he do. Thousands of people all over the world. I heard about him from the Breakfast Club. Okay. Tons of friends that I want to know about real estate. I want to learn about this. I want more for myself. I want to add value to my life. Yeah. Okay. We brought Mark Whitten down here. You know what he said? He said, I'm going to do it for free. Mind you, this guy makes a lot of money just for 3 hours. He's coming down here for free.
Yeah.
We set it up at Carol City with the help of, the councilwoman. All the people who wanted to learn, who was getting mad at us because they were saying that, we don't share enough information. A lot of my buddies never came.
Yeah.
So guess what now?
They can't come.
Don't talk to me about real estate. Because I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, they can't come.
Yeah, they
You're
can't
not
come.
willing to do what's necessary.
Yeah.
Same thing. I don't want to hand wash them utensils. So I need to go ahead and get me some silverware.
Right.
That can go in the dishwasher. Maybe you give me some plastic ones I can throw out.
Right.
I just don't want to do that. And I think it's so important for people to start to be really honest with themselves.
Yes.
And not look at and envy and look at somebody else's plate and feel like, oh, I need that on my plate.
Yeah.
Oh, you got that on your plate. How come you got so much food? Because I work really hard for it. I've been slaving in the kitchen for hours.
Yeah.
Let me teach you. You want some of this food? Let me teach you how to get it. They right now, Fly Supply, or I think you guys are releasing a line called Learn to Fish.
Right.
One of the what is it, a line, or what do you guys call that when you guys have
capsule?
A capsule.
Capsule. Okay,
Right.
so
And
we learn a new word, y'all.
Right.
Yeah, new fashion words, okay? He works in fashion. Okay, so it's called Learn to Fish, and I saw it and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. So it's pretty much a capsule around, instead of showing people what to do, really teaching them, right? And the saying of you teach a man to fish, you feed him for life, right?
Yeah.
And I love that you guys put those messages and your brilliance into your clothing so that people can see. Even with the Mark Whitten and the collaboration you guys did with City of Miami Gardens, you guys actually had a capsule line for that too, with real estate,
right?
Where you guys had different dope real estate real estate sayings, and so I love that you guys kind of really you guys do use your clothing to spread a message, right? And earlier you called yourself a disciple off camera. You were like, I feel like I'm a disciple, and as soon as you said that, I was like, oh my God, you really are a disciple. You are like spreading the gospel, which gospel just means good news, to people, and you do that. One of the ways you do it is through your clothing, so that's incredible.
And I'm just gonna put it out there because I like to speak things into existence. That y'all first female line is gonna be in collaboration with Triggered AF.
I like the way that sound. I see the fashion.
Yeah, listen, we.
I see. Oh yeah, okay.
If y'all not watching us on YouTube, you got to get over there because listen, we cute. We stay dressed to impress, okay? We stay cute.
So let me just kind of preface this by saying I don't want people to feel like there aren't journeys or paths that you start on that just aren't for you and that you should not maybe abandon, right? Like we get into this space, and especially I think as Black people, where you're not allowed to pivot.
Or quit. Like some things you should quit.
Like we get told that a lot. Like, oh, you're quitting. Why are you giving up?
Yes,
and it's like, sometimes this doesn't serve me anymore. Like, what if this doesn't serve me? Or you have to work this job for 50 years. Like there are we have family members that they will work at a very stressful, low-paying job just so they can say that they have a job.
Right.
And they feel good that they've been doing it for 30 years. And it's just like, but it sucks. Like, you've been wasting your life for 30 years. So we have a lot of conversations on here around the pivot. Like what you just heard? Want some more?
Make sure you're subscribed for the full access, behind the scenes, community view on our Patreon. Or if you love Apple, you can also subscribe there. And you can do so by going to triggeredafpodcast.com. You can use the top banner, or you can go ahead and click those first two buttons to subscribe exactly where you want to.
Continue to share all of our podcasts with your friends, with your family members, and you can continue to watch just 30 minutes on YouTube now. So if you want the full episode, you better subscribe.
We will see you soon as a member of our tribe. We cannot wait to continue these conversations. Bye, Trigger.
Bye.